Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Xa Talk Show. Today we are going to do emacs lisp. Let's get on to it right away. So today's topic. Today, we are going to code emacs lisp. So toggle dark theme. So let's make it the browser not dark theme, so it's easier to see. So what we are going to do is we are going to write a emacs lisp command that allows you to swap block of text. For example, I want this block of text to be swapped with this block of text. So I can after I have this command, I just press a key and this block comes down here. So you don't have to select the block, cut it, and paste it in front of the other one. So it just swaps, okay? So Emacs has a bunch of such commands. It's called transpose. I never used it, okay? So, but let's see transpose, okay? So let's look at the Emacs command. So you have transpose characters, which swaps the current character with the one before it. Let's see, transpose characters, transpose lines, transpose paragraph. Okay, transpose region. Oh, there's already transpose region. Okay, that's great. Transpose sexp. Okay, those are great. So let's copy that. So let's put it here so we can see. Okay, transpose commands. These are built in emacs lisp. Okay, so let me make them into one line and make a list out of it. Okay, so Emacs already have these transpose characters. So transpose characters, transpose lines that we're gonna use. Transpose paragraph we are not going to use because the Emacs has a weird kind of sense of paragraph. It depends on the major mod, and usually it's unpredictable. So if you just have English writings, for example, this paragraph and another paragraph, then you do transpose paragraph, that'll work in a plain text fundamental mod or text mod. But if you have HTML or programming code, Python, Ruby, JavaScript, whatever, the transpose paragraph doesn't work because the meaning of paragraph depends on Emacs concept of char table, okay, char class. So basically unpredictable. So in a programming language mod, you cannot predict what is a paragraph. So it's kind of weird. So that's why. So we are going to write. Let me show you. Okay. So hold on a second. So transpose sexp is also good. Let me make them colored so you can see easier. So transpose paragraph is essentially what we are going to write today, where a paragraph is defined precisely as a text block separated by empty lines. Okay, so universal, doesn't matter in what major mod, in Lisp code, in Python code, in C programming language, whatever programming language, it just swap block, the current block to the previous. So okay, so let's begin to write it. Okay, so there's another one, transpose words. Okay, make it color the word and make it that, and back to browser, refresh. Okay, transpose words. Okay, and transpose sexp, SEXP means a symbolic expression. That basically means let me show you. Okay, so you go to some emacs lisp code. Let's go up. Okay, so emacs lisp code, if you say transpose sex, this is one sexp, symbolic expression. Basically means text enclosed in a bracket. Okay, so that's one sexp. then if you call this command transpose sex, it's gonna swap this one with the previous one. The previous one is this one. So let's try it. So I put a cursor here, and let's call transpose. Okay, sex. Do it. Okay, what it did, let's see what it did. Nah, it's not so good. Okay, so what happened is that it transposed this parenthesis with this text block. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so let's try again. So if I put a cursor here, okay, let's do something simpler. Okay, make a backup. Let's do something. Okay, so because this way we can see. So this is magnify. This is B, this is A, and now we put a cursor in between them. So now I call transpose sexp. Okay, do it. You see A and B and swapped. That's what transpose sexp is. It's useful. So now we're gonna write one single command that depends on the cursor position. You'll call any one of these. But first of all, let's write transpose block. If you are already, if you know emacs lisp already, if you are already code emacs lisp, you might think that what I'm going to do is silly, because you might think, oh, you should do it this way, because anyway, I'm going to do this from ground up, kind of for those of you who are new to emacs lisp. So don't worry about the don't complain. Okay, if you already know Lisp, I'm gonna do it my way. So okay, let's begin. Write the code. So create the Lisp code. Okay, so here is our template. So XR Lisp mod, XR emacs Lisp mod. I'm using my own mod. So D for define, expand to a function name. Then let's call XR transpose block. Okay, so that's our function name. The documentation is swap the current text block with the previous. Okay, and version give a today's date. So let's start to write it. So first of all, transpose. So first of all, you want to determine what's the current the beginning position and end position of the block. Okay, so a block is defined by separation of empty lines. Essentially, let me show the white space. Okay, so essentially you can see it's separated by essentially two end of line characters. So for example, this would be one block, and this would be one block right now. So if you remove that end of line, empty line, then this is one block. Okay, so in XR keys, for example, I can press a key to select the block. Number 6 to select the block. I go here, press number 6. That's one block. Okay, so so first of all, get the beginning position of the block and end position, because we need those positions to tell Emacs to swap this region. Okay, so I already have I wrote this many times in my past videos. So if you watch my videos, you probably have seen it. So today we are just going to call a command we have already written. And the easiest way is just look at my existing code. Okay, for example, press number 6, select the current block. So now let's call the pink window. You can see all my command calls and keystrokes. Okay, I'm using XR keys and Vora keyboard. So for example, I press 6. You can see the command XR select block. You see, that's one block. So now I call describe key, then I press the key 6, then you get the documentation for XR select block. Okay, then you just jump to the code. So here is the source code for XR select block. You can see it defines the block here. Okay, but okay, let's do it quickly. So I don't want to waste time. So let's just copy that then. select block. Yeah, so okay, so let's go to my emacs tutorial. Okay, so search for emacs tutorial, then practical emac lisp. Okay, then you have a section that tells you how to select the beginning position and end position of a block. Okay, so let's go here. Let's see, get user input, thing and point, get text block. Okay, so here is a code for getting the position of the block. Okay, so actually, so let's copy that, copy it, close that. What are we doing? Select block. I want to do this quickly. So anyway, so that's my tutorial. Okay, you like my stuff? If you like my stuff, buy it. Okay, so for now, let's just copy this thing, close that. Okay, paste it here. Remove the white space, delete that. This is the part we want. Okay, paste it here. This define we don't need anymore. Prettify, shrink. Okay, so if region is active, okay, so forget about region active. We'll do that later. Okay, so what if the region is active? Do we? Okay, let's push on. Let's worry about things later. So okay, so here's a code that you skip character forward to find the new line and the tab and space. So you want to move the cursor to the end of the block. Okay, then you search backward. This is, yeah, so what it's doing is that you search forward to the end of a sequence of empty lines. Then you have to move backward to there, because that's the end of the block. You don't want the position to be there. So that's why you research backward. Okay. Now this code is not. Yeah, this is better. Okay, so actually, they are pretty much the same, but let me just do it quickly. So paste, so that, okay, there. So let P1 and P2 are local variables. Save excursion. Search backward by 2 or more empty lines, and maybe a space or tab inside it. Then you go to the end of the match and set the P1. That's the beginning position of the block. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's right. So if the search is not successful, if you cannot find a, so what this code search backward, like search backward here, so you have empty lines there, right? So this line will search backward up and put the cursor there. Then you move the character there and set the end position of the match. So you search. Oh God, I'm getting kind of confused. Good morning, guys. So you search backward by empty lines 2 or more empty lines. So that means when you do that, when you call this command, that will move your cursor there. Then you want to go to the character match end. Match end 0 means the whole matched text, and that's what match end 0 means. The whole matched, the position, the end position of the whole match string. So that means it's gonna be here because we are searching a bunch of empty lines. So the match end 0 is over there, okay, over here. Then you also move the cursor there, go to char, then you set the position. Point is the current cursor position, okay, it's a number. So that's how you set the beginning position of the block, okay. But however, if you search backward is failed, you know, this command research backward, it will return true if it's found. If otherwise, it returns nil. So if it failed, then you simply set the position 1, beginning of the block, to be the current cursor position. So when would this happen? This would happen if your current block is the beginning of a buffer, because you don't have empty lines above it. So when you don't have empty lines above it, you just search backward will move the cursor to the maximal previous position that it cannot search anymore, and it still returns 0 because no empty line is found. Okay, so I'm getting it is, this is getting take too much time to explain this. So anyway, so once you found the beginning position of the block, then you do it again. You search the end, you search forward to search the end position of the block. Okay, so that's how we set P1 and P2. Okay, so then the message is we don't care, a vector we don't care. Okay, I talked about this in my previous videos many times. Okay, so now we got a beginning position and end position. What's the next thing to do? The next thing to do is that we need to find the beginning position and end position of the previous block. Okay. Yeah, we took a lot of time to explain this one. Then we're gonna do it again. So let me write it quickly. So go to char P1. Okay. So we're gonna declare more variables: P1, P2, P3, P4. P3 and P4 will be the beginning and end position of the previous block. Okay. So go to char P1, then do the whole thing again. Now we are doing inefficient code, but this is because I'm doing a video. I need to get moving on. Non-stop, some action. So I need to show some action. So we go to the beginning of the beginning position of the current block. Then we do the whole thing again. We just like before, we do the whole thing again. That's right. Then you set, this is gonna be P3 and P4. Okay, let's just do it quickly. Then we're gonna call this command we're gonna call a command. So there is a building, there it is, transpose regions. Okay, so we're gonna call this command. Now let's describe function to see what that command does. Okay, the documentation for this command. Okay, so here is the syntax: transpose regions, start position. Okay, so we are almost done. So start position is gonna be P1, end position is gonna be P2, and P2, okay, P1, P2, P3, P4. That's, so we swap P1, P2 region to P3 and P4, and optional leave markers no. Okay, I think that's it for our command. It should work. transpose block. Yep. Okay, so now evaluate the buffer. Okay, you can see the command I called there. So now let's just try it. Okay, so let's copy this and create a new buffer, paste it there, magnify. So you can see we have something here and some else. Okay, so each one of these is a paragraph. I mean, it's a block. Okay, so first of all, let's put, so we're gonna call the command, it should swap these two. Okay, so xar transpose block, please. What did it work? This function. Okay, this function, then normally. Okay, so it did not work. Do it again. Xar transpose block. Do it. Symbols value as variable is void p1. Okay, we got an error. So you can see that's an error in messages buffer. Symbols value as variable is void. Okay, let's fix it. Oh yeah, so you need to put the transpose code inside the let. That's why. There it is. Okay. Comment it out. So okay, so eval the buffer again. Back to the test code. Now call our command xar transpose block. Do it. Yeah. Okay, it says transpose regions overlap. So that means we didn't get our position correctly because the region overlapped. Okay, so let's go back here to fix our code. So first of all, don't save excursion. Okay, so you see that saves excursion. That means whenever you move cursor when you code emacs lisp, when you are moving cursor, such as we are doing, go to chart and so on, usually when your command finishes, you want the cursor to be at wherever, before the command begin, so that user don't confused. User calls your command, then the cursor goes to somewhere else. So in that situation, you want to call save excursion. What you'll do is that you can look at the documentation, save excursion. What you'll do is that you'll run whatever the code, and when it's done, you'll return the cursor to the original position. So in our case, we don't need it. Okay, so let's just replace it by program n. That's just a group. Okay, so what is going on? So we are doing so. Go to chart. Okay, then go to chart P1. Go to chart P1. Okay, so we don't want to go to chart P1. We want to. So P1 is the beginning of the block. Okay, so yeah, P1 is the beginning position of the current block. So we got P1 and P2 is the beginning and end position of the current block. Now you want to, okay, the easiest way is just okay, once you've done that, then you go to P1, then you search backward again to the this is essentially the end of previous block. Okay, so set P4. Okay, point. Okay, so actually we don't need this. Then you do it again, search backward actually. Yeah, this should work. Okay, so but the problem is, okay, so this should work. Okay, you go to the P1 is the beginning position of the current block. Then you search backward for empty lines that will move the cursor to there. Then you set P2. So this is I mean you set P4. So P4 means the end position of the previous block. Okay. Then you do backward search again for the empty lines. Then you want to set match end. Okay, so actually I'm not sure I'm doing a good explanation. Set P3 to match end. Yeah, so this code will work, but it's not robust. Let me explain why. Okay, because this code will not work when you have a situation like this, when you have a block that doesn't have empty lines above it. For example, when your text is at the beginning of buffer, or when your text is at the end of buffer, where there's no empty lines below it or above it. So this code we need to fix. Okay, so go back here. Let's try it. Okay, first of all, evaluate it. Go here. Now we call the command. Now it should work. Do it. Yeah, it worked. Okay, now undo. But you see, if I remove the empty lines at the beginning, so there's no empty lines before this block, then it will not work. For example, let's try it. Do it. Transpose block. Yeah, it worked, but you see, it got screwed up. The two paragraphs become merged. So let's go back and fix this command. Actually, in order to do this, we have to think, we cannot just like push on and code, give you guys activity all the time. We need to think about it. So, 2 people watching. Okay, so let's fix this. Transpose. So let's fix this. We need to think about this. Okay, P1 and P2 and P3 and P4. Okay. So let's name them, instead of P1, P2, let's name them something to be more intuitive. Current block end. Okay. Current block P2. Let's just say begin end. Okay. Then previous block begin, previous block end. Okay, that's much more readable. Now we want to find, let's remove the redundant shit. Okay, remove that. Okay. So current block begin, current block end. So first of all, search backward, search empty lines. Okay, so we have so if it's found, then match beginning 0 is set previous block end. Previous block end. That's match beginning 0. Yes. Then set current block begin, that's match end 0. That's right. So that is if it's found. Okay, so then let's remove that. Remove set point. Okay, so if you found the empty lines before the cursor, then the beginning of empty lines is the previous block end. The end of empty lines is current block begin. That's right. But if there is no empty lines above the cursor, then basically you just error out because you don't have the previous block to swap to. Okay. So you're gonna say error no previous block. Okay, so that is that. Okay, now you go to char, move the cursor to you move the cursor to current block begin. Okay, then you search forward. Okay, then you not search backward, search forward. Okay, then you search forward for empty lines. Okay, so you move the cursor to the current block begin, then you search forward for empty lines. Okay, let's add a current cursor position. Okay, so you go to current cursor position, then you search forward. You want to find the current the position, the end position of the current block. So you do that by search empty lines. Now if you found it, then that's the current block end position. Okay, so you want to say region match begin 0. Okay, so that is the current block end. Now if you did not find it, then it's just the max position. Okay, if you did not find it, then point. Okay, so let's clean out the code. So let's remove this, clean out the code here. Okay, so we got now current block end, and we set the current block end. Okay, so now we got current block begin, we got current block end, and now we also have previous block end. So now we just go to previous block end, then we search backward. So basically copy this. Okay, so now we move the cursor to the previous block end. Okay, then we search backward for empty lines. Okay, we search backward for empty lines. Now, if you found empty lines, that's great. Then you set previous block begin to match end 0. That's right. Okay, then you don't need this. Okay, so if you found empty lines in the previous block, then the end position of the match is the previous block begin. That's right. However, if you did not find it, then you just set the previous block begin to be current point position, current cursor position. Okay, that's it. That's it for the code. Eval buffer. So now we evaluate the buffer, so that should work. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to the test. Okay. So now, if there is let's remove the empties. So let's call the command transpose block, do it. Symbols value is void p1. Okay, yeah. Where's p1? Oh yeah, fine. p1, p2. We need to change that. Yeah. Okay. Let's rename this. Okay, current block begin, let's rename it to be P1. Okay, so because it's shorter. Okay, current block end, let's name it, so P1 is, okay, current block end will be renamed P2. Okay. Okay. Okay, and previous block begin is P3. Okay. Okay. And previous block end is P4. Predefine the code. Okay, that's good. Evaluate it back to the test page. Move the cursor here, call it XOR transpose block. Do it. Fantastic, it works. Undo. Now let's remove the empty lines. Now let's do it again. Call it transpose block. It worked. It worked, except that it kind of moved the buffer. I mean, let's try it again. You know, actually, let's just say AAA and BBB. Okay, so now let's simpler. Okay. Call it, do it. Okay, it moved the cursor, you see. It let's put something. do it, call it, do it, it worked. Move the cursor here, call it, it works. But when you don't have empty lines above it, call it, do it, it worked. But however, it moved the cursor, it moved the let's see what's going on. So let's call it, do it, it worked, but it scrolls the buffer so that your cursor position is at the top. I don't know what's going on. Let's do it over here, okay? Do it. Yeah, you see? Do it. Okay, that's kind of worked. So now let's go back. Okay, so let's do it. Do it. Okay, so after it transpose, it moves the cursor. Let's try this, okay? So this way. So we call it, what? We call it, it moves the cursor all the way to the top. Now, why is that? Okay, so yeah, so we need to save excursion to save cursor. So save excursion, okay? Not stop moving cursor, okay? Eval region back here. Let's call it again. Do it. Fantastic. Do it. Fantastic. Now do it again. It should swap with that. Do it again. Fantastic. Now it's fantastic. It's complete. Our code is working correctly and great. Let's try it over here without empty lines below, okay? It should, swap with that. Okay. Do it. It failed. What? Now, if there's empty lines, do it. Okay, so it failed because, okay, so here's what happens. It will fail when there's more than 2 empty lines. Okay, let's see. Call it. Do it. Yeah, it fails when there's more than 2 empty lines. Do it. Yeah. So now let's go back to the code and fix. It fails when there's more than 2 empty lines. Oh yeah, so you need to, yes, that's right. Empty line /n, you need to put a plus. Wait. Yeah, you need to put a 0 or more. That's right. 0 or more, which is an asterisk sign to make it 0 or more. That's right. Okay, and over here it's the same. Okay, and over here it's the same. Evaluate the code. Back to our test page. Put more empty lines there. Move the cursor here. Try it. What? No, it didn't work. So, any questions? Caught you live for the first time. Off Lamio. Hey, Why do you not use Emacs as the front end to Wolfram language when you use it for every other language? I do often, except that when you want to plot something graphics, let me digress for a minute, okay? So plot 3D plot 3D sine xy x 0 to 6, y from 0 to 6. You see, you are plotting a graphics, but you don't have that feature when you use Emacs as front end, because it cannot display graphics. That's why, if you are using Wolfram language for solving equations, that's fine. I use the Emacs front end, XR Wolfram language mod. Okay, but if you are plotting something, I go to the Wolfram language notebook front end. Okay, that answers that, I think. What's the second best language to use for cellular automata? That depends. Okay, if you wanna do okay, I'm about to digress. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Cellular automata. So you go to my website. Okay, so sorry info. Let me show you. Okay, so you go to my website. You go down. There's programming language tutorials, hacker code about programming languages and stuff. Then there's a math section. Then you go to XR math. Okay, then you see all things related to math. Then you go down, and there's my notes about cellular automata. My notes on reading this book, this heavy book. So that's all about cellular automata. So your question is, what's the best language to do cellular automata besides Wolfram language? Let me put a plug for Wolfram language, okay? Because they are donor, they donate to me, okay? So I would, my honest opinion, just use Wolfram language, it's free, just search for XR Wolfram. I talked about this all the time in my video. Just search for XR Wolfram engine. You can download it for free and follow many of my tutorials. Let's go to it. So let me show you, okay? So XR math. So you go to my website, xrd.info. Then you show JavaScript. Then you go to, there it is, Wolfram language. So here I did several videos of it, tutorials on Wolfram language, and Wolfram language tutorial, you can download it. I mean, the Wolfram language is free now since 2 years ago. And this page explains the differences of Wolfram language versus Mathematica. What's the difference? Wolfram engine, Wolfram script, and so on. And then you have the Wolfram language complete tutorial for beginners. Okay. I recommend. Of course, I recommend it. I've been coding Wolfram language since 1990s. Okay. So Wolfram, so you can just use Wolfram language. Probably the best, okay? But now, depends. Now if you are going to code cellular automata, there's thousands varieties. You have 3D cellular automata, you have one-dimensional cellular automata, you have two-dimensional cellular automata, you have all sorts. You have ants crawling, you have all sorts of graphics. This is infinite. Essentially infinite types even of cellular automata. For example, Game of Life, very popular, that's also cellular automata. So cellular automata is about pure computation. So you just even you have supercomputers, you cannot finish it. It's infinite. So if you want to study, so to answer that question, what other language to use for cellular automata depends on your goal. Now, if your goal is to look at, some of, to study cellular automata, just, yeah, to study cellular automata in all sort of manners, then Wolfram language is the easiest, it's the best, okay? But if here's a particular, if your goal is to study a specific, like you are a researcher, you already know about cellular automata, but you are studying a specific type of cellular automata, such as scheme of life. Each one of them, there's almost infinite exploration. So you can spend even if you have a supercomputer, it's endless, okay? But if you are studying a specific type of cellular automata, you want to find a particular pattern, meaning that you need the most efficient way to compute, the millionth, the billionth generation possible. That's when I would say you might want to use other languages like C, or usually C, Golang, C++, this, or maybe even Fortran. Fortran is actually faster in number crunching than C. So that's when you want to use some other language, and I would just recommend Golang, okay? So that answers your question. So let's go back to my boring emacs Lisp. So right now we have a bug, and the bug is it's not, let's say, evaluate the region, call the command, do it. It doesn't swap when there is more than one empty lines in between the blocks, okay? So why is that? So we have to go back to our code and look at them in detail. So we search backward, and actually we should search forward. Okay, then let's just stick with this. Search backward. We try to find two or more empty lines, right? Two or more empty lines. If we found it, then previous block end. And current block beginning, okay? If we did not find it, then we do that. Then we go to cursor position. Then we search forward. The order is not optimal, so I need to rewrite this. The order is not optimal. Anyway, so we go to the current cursor position, then we search forward for one or more empty lines. If we found it, we set to P1 to be that. Otherwise, P2 is the maximum, okay? Then we go to P1, then we go to the previous. So I don't understand why is it not working. Okay, so what is your interest? So are you studying cellular automata? Oh, so you already have Wolfram engine. So cellular automata, yeah, let me digress. I'm stuck with this for a while. So cellular automata, you cannot do everything in Wolfram language. Well, I mean, you can, but I mean, Wolfram language has built-in cellular automata. So but because cellular automata, there's so many, there's thousands of types. So you cannot really, so it's not just a function. I mean, okay, so let me try to rephrase. Wolfram language has built-in cellular automata. Okay, so let's try. So cellular automation, so you can see a list of functions about cellular automation. Okay, generate a list of representing the evolution of the cellular automation with the specified rule from initial condition. Okay, so now my question is this general or not? For example, can we use the built-in function cellular automation to run Game of Life? Okay, no. So you see, Wolfram language provides this built-in function that does cellular automation of one very specific type. That is this type, this one-dimensional cellular automation. So if you are studying this type of cellular automata, Wolfram language is obviously the most easy and useful, But however, if you are doing Game of Life, which is two-dimensional, or if you want to do three-dimensional, or you want to do something else, then you don't have the convenience of a built-in function. So that means you have to write the code. Okay, you have to code Wolfram language. So at this point, you can either code it in Wolfram language or code it in other language. Now, of course, so now this becomes a generic programming problem. Which language should you use? And the Wolfram language is, of course, much more high level. One line of Wolfram language equals to 100 or 1,000 Golang or C or whatever. So, but it's slower. That's a thing. It's slower, so it allows you to in 1 hour you can create your 2D cellular automata. But it's slow. Maybe 100 generations per second or something. But but you can do it in 1 hour, and you can see all the graphics. You can see, you can easily see, you can do it in a day. You can see your cellular automata of specific type. But if you do it in another language, it's gonna take you days. It's gonna take you weeks or days just to make it work. Then you don't have graphics, then you need a library for graphics that, easily takes you a month. But if you are a professional programmer, you know what you are doing, then after a month, your program is very fast. It's usually 10 times or even 100 times faster than your one-day prototype in Wolfram language. So that is the full answer. That's the full detail. So yeah, you want to do computer experiments outside of academy, okay? Yeah, okay, that's about that. Okay, let's back to Emacs. So, but we are stuck. Why is this not working? We already talked for 1 hour already. Okay, so we have a bug that I'm inclined just to rewrite this. let's say current block C1, C2, P1, P2. Okay. that way is more intuitive. So yeah, I'm gonna rewrite this. Okay, so yeah, current block begin, current block end, previous block begin, previous block end. Okay, so current position. So you start by search forward. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite this. Search forward that if it's found, then C2, current block end. Okay, otherwise the maximum. So that's the current block end. So we start at the end. So then you go to cursor position. Then you search backward for that. Okay. If it's found, then C1 is match end, current cursor beginning, and set P2 match beginning. Okay, that's right. If it's found. If it's not found, then that. Okay, so we got C2, then we work from below to upwards. This order is more efficient. So C2, C1, P2, then we go to P2. Okay, then we go to P2, then we search backward. If it's found, then P1 will be match end. That's right. Then, but if it's not found, then it's just a maximum point. Okay. Okay, eval the buffer. Do it. Symbols value is void P3. Oh yeah, okay. So P1, P2. Okay. Eval the buffer. Go back here. Call the command. Do it. Same problem. do it. And it's even worse than before because now search forward. Oh, I know. Yeah, instead of the asterisk, we need plus 1 or more, not 0 or more. Fucking idiotic error. So asterisk, we need a plus. There. Yeah. Evaluate the region. Okay, back here. Correct. Yeah. What? Evaluate region. Plus, right? M plus. Evaluate the region. Evaluate buffer. Oh God, I thought this is much easier. Days to write versus days to render. Yeah. Okay, so do it. It worked, okay? Do it. It didn't work. Do it. So you have when you have multiple empty lines, it does not work. That's right. When you have multiple empty lines, it did not work. Do it. Is there any error? No. Stuck. I'm going to, I think I'm going to delete this stream because it's going nowhere when I'm done. So because I've done much better emacs lisp tutorials before, you can watch my previous video. What do you use to mine the web right now? I don't mine the web. Putting a group, maybe. What group? So double check. It should be right. So I have to think about this. The coding is like that. So search forward for at least 2 empty lines. Okay, and this nil means not bound. Okay, and this move means if it's not found, move the cursor to the maximal position. Okay, so you search forward for empty 2 or more empty lines. That's correct. Then if it's found, then if it's found, you say the match beginning, okay, the beginning position of the match text, okay, and you set it to C2. That's right, the end of current block, because we are searching forward. Okay, so if you found these empty lines below cursor, you set the beginning match position to be the position of the current block, the end of the current block. Okay, I'm just gonna put a parenthesis around things that you want to find then. Oh, you mean regular expression group. No, you shouldn't need it, because you can do that, but you shouldn't need it. I'm pretty sure. So rejects group, right? Okay, so we can try, but wait, so okay, let's look into the regular expression. So we have an empty line, then we have either space or tab, zero or more space tab, okay, then another empty line, at least one of it. So that means empty line. Oh, you know what? I know what's the problem. Yeah, I know what's the problem. The problem is the emacs technical details, emacs lisp technical details, because I've run into that before. You see, when you search backward, yeah, I think I know what's the problem. Instead of using search backward, you want to use skip char. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's pretty. The problem is when you search backward, like here, when you are searching backward, we are searching an empty line, then space or tabs, zero or more, then another empty line, at least one of it. So when you search backward, with this regular expression, it does not work exactly like when you search forward, even though the regular expression are exactly the same. So this is hard to explain. I mean, Emacs does not move the cursor all the way, basically. So we can fix this by, okay, hold on a second, make a backup, and we can fix this by, okay, so let's fix this by, so now go to char, cursor position, then skip char. So search backward. Yeah, I think this is pretty much the problem. Yeah, that is why. So I think, okay, I'm pretty sure. So, but what are we going to do now? So search char backward. So the problem is it doesn't move the cursor all the way of the matched expression. So that means So that means this part, the P1, the previous block end, is going to be wrong. Yeah, so what we can do to fix that is comment this out. Then we say skip char backward. Okay, we want to skip any of empty space or T tab. Okay, empty line or space or tab, and no limit. Okay, so you skip char, then you set point P2. Okay, so instead of that line, we replace it with these two. Like we kind of force Emacs to move the cursor backward and skipping those empty white spaces. I think that's it. And probably similar things happen here. No, this is fine. I mean, the problem only happens when you want to. You see, when you search backward with a regular expression, and if the regular expression involves some kind of white space, continuation, Emacs does not move it all the way. This is a bit tricky and complex. I cannot give you an example right now. Actually, we can actually. So, for example, let's run this code. Okay, run it. You see that's a problem. You see, our cursor is here. You look at there's our cursor. So we gonna call the command eval last sex. So we're gonna run this line of emacs lisp. Right now, if we run it, this says research backward, empty line, followed by space or tab, 0 or more, followed by 1 or more empty lines. So intuitively, you might think, let's show white space. We're gonna skip those, so the cursor should be here. So if we evaluate this line, when the cursor is at the end, the result is it should move the cursor there, but it doesn't. You see, let's try it. Okay, run the code. You see, that is the problem. So you see, there is a asymmetry between the search forward and search backward. Even though your regular expression is exactly the same. If your cursor is here, then you do the same code, but you search forward, it will move your cursor to here. Okay. But if your cursor is here, you do the same code, it doesn't move all the way back there. It stops there. So this problem, I haven't looked into detail why does that occur? But I mean that's the behavior of emacs lisp, and the documentation doesn't really say. The documentation doesn't really. You see, there it is. Okay, search backward from point for regular expression. Okay, it's search backward. Okay, this function is almost identical to research forward, except that by default it searches backward instead of forward, and the sign of count also indicates exactly the opposite searching direction. Yeah. You see, there. Okay, there it is. Note, you see, this is a very tricky technical detail. Note that searching backward may give a shorter match than expected, because regular expression is still match in the forward direction. Yeah, it's a bit. Oh, now they have a reference. They have a link. Now they have a link to the emacs lisp manual. Let's see. God, this is one of my bug report 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now they now they actually did it. You see, now they have a link to the documentation for this function at the Emacs list manual. You know, I suggested that 15 some like 11 years ago, and now finally. You know, it's funny. Okay, let me talk random. You know, it's funny that, let's go to my Emacs blog. You know, the GNU bug report. You know, I reported some bug in 2008, and after 10 years, you know, they send out email. Oh, this one is we are not going to fix it, or it's fixed. You know, 10 years. Fixed after 13 years. So that's one example. But right now, this is another example. You know, I can search for the bug report to find my original report. I probably have it on my blog somewhere. But anyway, so this Emacs manual talks about regular expressions. Okay, so anyway, so that's a problem. Okay, so we now know the problem. So what is the most efficient way to solve this? You know, we already have a solution. You know, let's eval it. Let's try it. I think it will work. You see, it worked. You know, it worked. Now let's say if there's no empty lines there, do it. It worked. Do it. Okay. Now let's say there's no empty lines at the bottom. Do it. It works. Okay, fantastic. Now our code works. Now remove this. Okay, now we want to add a key to repeat it, because, for example, D is it. Okay, so you see, once you call the command, usually you want to put the cursor at the position. Yeah, you want to put the cursor there. Okay, so let's try to move this inside. Oops. Let's put it inside save excursion. Okay, the transpose. Okay, eval the region, eval the buffer back here. Do it. Yeah, so you want the cursor to stick with the paragraph you were on, so that you can call it again and you'll move that block up. You see, this is very convenient way to move a block, you know, like up. You know, do it. Okay, now we are going to add a key to this. Okay, so let's say F11. What is 11? Yeah, okay, let's say F11. Okay, global set key. Let's see, what is Control T? Control T, hippie expand. Okay, Control N. Yeah. Control M. Control W. Control D. Okay, let's see D. Okay, let's give it a key. XOR transpose block. Okay, evaluate it. Control D. Do it. Fantastic. Do it. Oh, okay. So when, let's see, do it. Okay, so there's another problem. When the current block does not have ending empty lines, then when you call the command, it does not move your cursor up. Okay, I think that's it for today. Stolen. This episode is worth keeping. Oh, okay. It's nice to know that people are listening. What? I think that's it for today. Thank you guys for coming. Evil mod, 4 keystrokes. Okay, evil mod show off. Well, wait, hold on a second. If you're gonna mention evil mod in front of Starfly keys, I challenge you. So you say 4 keystrokes, right? No, in Starfly keys it's the same. Okay, watch. Okay, so first of all, let's make them in the right order. Okay, so A, B, C, D, right? So I want to move this block up, okay? Watch my key count, okay? Without using the command we just wrote today, okay? 1 keystroke, another keystroke, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5, and you got let's do it again. Okay, let's start from this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 keystrokes. Okay, let's see, let's swap the first 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's Starfly keys, and you were saying evil mod. Yeah, Starfly keys is more efficient than evil mod, even without this command. But today, after this talk show, I'm gonna add these 2 Starfly keys, so it's even more efficient than evil mod or Vim. Okay, so yeah, so I've been talking for 1.5 hours. Okay, that's it. Bye, guys. Buy my Emacs tutorial. Okay, buy my Emacs tutorial and Emacs Lisp tutorial. Bye. Hey, Leo Cado. Okay, we shut down in 1 minute. So so fantastic. Actually, should we just go on? Drag on. Why not? Live stream coding. So I'm going to. So there's actually a lot to do. So we kind of stuck today and spent 90 minutes on this. So once you have transpose block, there's a lot to do. Let me tell you. Okay, so now we have the command, right? We can just transpose easily. Except we need to fix the problem when you are at the end, when your current block is at the end of a buffer, when there is no empty lines below it, then when you do the transpose block, it does not move your cursor. It works, but it does not move cursor with the block. So how do you fix that? So that's one thing we need to fix. Why is that? Basically save excursion got confused. Yeah, save excursion got confused. So the end of block, current block in C2, so something about C2 there. C2. So where is C2? C2 is here. So you search forward, and if you found it, then C2 is good. Otherwise you set C2 to the point. But why would that not work? I don't understand. So anyway, so once you have the transpose block written, right, what you want to do is that, sometimes we don't want transpose block. Sometimes we want to actually transpose lines. So the design is that if your cursor is at the beginning of a line, then it will transpose lines. So you can call, for example, transpose line. Okay. You see, if your cursor is at beginning of the line, then you want to call transpose lines. But if your cursor is at end of the line, you want to call transpose block, like that. Yeah, okay, so this still, why is it not, God. Okay, so there is an issue when, basically the issue is that when there is no empty lines, it's not satisfactory, because when you transpose, then emacs scores the buffer. Yeah. You don't want emacs to score the buffer because it's confusing, because where did my other line go? Well, it's above the, wait, now it works. What? So why is that sometimes it doesn't? I don't know when is the condition it scores the buffer. Oh, there. Okay, so when your cursor is here, then you call the command. Oh, okay, so maybe when there is more than one empty lines between, then you call the command. Okay, that works. 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 That doesn't work. Okay, so you see, if your cursor is at the end of the current block, then you call the command. It works, but however, it scrolled up or scroll down your cursor, your buffer. Okay, do it. You see, scroll up, do it, scroll up, do it, scroll up. Yeah. So when your cursor is in a block, anyway, I need to fix this. So this is a tedium of real life coding. Like in theory we solved it, but there's just like a bunch of minor, issues, edge cases. So you have to figure out, before we had that little problem, but now we have to figure out why is this doing this. So anyway, when this is fixed, what I want is that depending on your cursor location, it may swap the current line or it may swap current block. And if your cursor position is on a bracket, for example, like right here, then it should swap the sixth, swap like that. So you'll have just one single command, depends on where your cursor position is. Then saves you a lot tedium when you do editing. Okay, that's it for today. So put this back here, color it, show in browser, So that's today's talk show, and that's today's code, kind of. Bye.